Good morning, students. Let us continue with restoration period. In our previous lecture, we discussed up to the dramatist George Etheridge. Now, William Wycherley has been called a Puritan with the veneer of a restoration gentleman. His first play, Love in a Wood or St. James Park, which came in 1671, is dedicated to one of Charles II's mistresses, the Duchess of Cleveland. The success of this play brought him into touch with the court. The last two plays, The Country Wife, that came in 1675, and The Plain Dealer, published in 1676, are his finest creations. The Country Wife exposes female frailty and dishonesty on the one hand and the outward respectability on the other. The Plain Dealer attacks the vices of the age in a satirical manner. It is modeled on Moliere's Misanthropy. This play was considered to be an artistic achievement by Dryden, and he praised the satire, strength, and wit of manly Wycherley. William Congreve has been regarded as the greatest of the Restoration dramatists. The comedy of manner reaches perfection in his dramas. His plays are a faithful reflection of the upper class life of his days. His purpose is concise, lucid, and pointed. It shows an excellent ear for cadence and rhythm. His most brilliant comedy is The Way of the World, that published in 1700. The impact of the play depends both on the discrepancies between what is publicly declared and what is privately acknowledged. In the words of Bonamy Dobry, the whole power is centered on an airiness of fancy and delicacy of style eminently adapted to the expression of the conventional conversion of the fine society of his time. Sir John Vanbrugh's plays lack the elegance of Congreve's, but they are full of genial humor and energy. His best three comedies are The Relapse, The Provoked Wife, and The Confederacy. George Farquhar wrote 7 plays, the best of which are the last two, The Recruiting Officer and The Box's Stratagem. His dialogues lack the sustained polish of Congreve. Restoration period was less rich in tragedy than in comedy. However, Dryden wrote heroic tragedies like The Indian Emperor, The Conquest of Grenada, Aurangzeb, and All for Love. Other minor dramatists are Thomas Otway, Nathaniel Lee, Elkanah Settle, John Brown, and Nicholas Rowe. This age is also known for two famous diary writers. They are Samuel Pepys and John Evelyn. Their diaries are important as historical documents. They provide a fascinating view of the life of Restoration London and the impact of the Great Plague and the Great Fire on London life. That's all about Restoration period. Next, we are going to start with Neoclassical age. The simple use of this troublesome term is as non-committal as the names for periods of English literature. The Neoclassical age spans the 140 years or so after the Restoration. Many historians and critics have tried to define Neoclassical age, which includes such different writers as Dryden, Pope, Jonathan Swift, Addison, and Dr. Johnson. Some general principles underlying Neoclassical age can be distinguished in their works. Some essential characteristics of this period are: number one, the neoclassic writers generally regarded man as a limited creature. They thought that his understanding was not adequate to an exploration of the infinity. The great philosopher John Locke, in his book Essay Concerning Human Understanding, expressed the hope that his inquiry into the nature of understanding would lead the busy mind of man to be more cautious and meddling with things exceeding in comprehension. Number two, these writers showed a strong traditionalism. They also showed immense respect for classical writers, especially Roman writers. Number three, literature was conceived to be primarily an art. They believed that the poetic talent must be perfected by long study and practice. They followed the neoclassical ideal expressed by Horace in his book Ars Poetica. They demanded the utmost finish, attention to detail, and correction. They were also careful to observe the complex demands of stylistic decorum. Number four, the neoclassicists pointed out that poetry is an imitation of human life, a mirror held up to nature. The proper goal of poetry was to instruct and delight. Number five, the poet's job is to please his readers through the embellishment of language. Number 6, art for man's sake is the main ideal of neoclassical humanism. Number 7, neoclassic writers attacked man's pride. They emphasized the value of the golden mean. Number 8, they admired clarity, balance, order, proportion, and restraint. And the last one, they believed in the principle of decorum. In other words, they thought that a rich and elevated language was appropriate to the great genres of epic and tragedy. They pointed out that a simpler language must be used for comedy and other genres that dealt with ordinary life. Mark it here. Thank you very much.